going on, family? It is the Keto Cookout. We grilling, baby.
Buddy. We grilling, baby.
Want to welcome everybody to the show, man. We got a great show today for you folks. I'm hunkered down here in an undisclosed bunker in Florida, and it is raining and it is windy. So if the screen blanks out, just know, hey, you know, I'm putting my life on the line for this thing. Hey, if you don't put your life on the line for it, you don't really love it. So I'm here, putting my life on the line, and we're going to give you a great show today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What do we got, Ollie?
We got the scurvy check.
Uh-oh.
You scurvy dog.
Scurvy check.
Yeah.
Russ, do you have scurvy?
You scurvy
no,
dog.
but I did have the hiccups earlier.
Dog.
I don't know.
Maybe
that's the onset. The hiccup.
What was that, Russ?
He had hiccups.
Yeah, the hiccups. That might be the beginning of scurvy. I'm not sure. That might be coming on.
You get some symptoms there.
Right.
Yeah.
Bella doesn't have scurvy today.
That's awesome.
How about Damon?
Well, no.
Uh-oh.
No. And Adam, do you have scurvy?
Scurvy free today.
Yay! Me too.
There you go.
Me too. No scurvy yet. No scurvy yet. You scurvy dogs.
Right.
Now, Adam, how many carnivores?
Yeah. Okay, listen, did you have another pickle? Did you have another pickle?
Oh no, but
Okay,
I did have way too much dairy. I did have way
last
too much
week.
dairy.
Yeah, okay. Highest carb meal.
I'm still high from the sugar that went up my nose from the cereal box.
Yeah. Hey, you're in Colombia. Luckily, that's the only thing that went up your nose.
Okay, wait, who did I ask? Oh, Adam, have you had any carbohydrates this week?
Zero.
Yay!
Yep.
Oh, man, he's a natural born liar. I
was planning on doing something, but it just didn't happen.
He just wants to win. That's all. He just wants to win.
Stay tuned for next week.
Yeah.
I might eat a
carb.
carb.
Last time.
Right.
All right, Damon, what about you? Did you eat your weekly tomato? Zero. Okay,
not
good
this
for
week.
you. How about Russ?
Listen, I get my 12 to 15 in a day. No, actually, it was a light week carb wise. I had just my sauces, salsa and tomato sauce. But that's it. It's just nothing besides that. I didn't even have. Wait a minute. No, no vegetables in the last since I think Wednesday last week. So yeah, pretty low, just sauces.
Nice. And I tried Dr. Kiltz's ice cream. So I guess there's a few carbohydrates in there. And that's how I cheated this week because everybody else was partying at my son's birthday, and that's what I had. It tastes more like butter. We overchurned it, but still it was very good.
It still sounds good.
What's in that?
It's like egg yolks. He adds sugar. We added erythritol, Dr. Kiltz, and heavy whipping cream. And it's delicious. It's delicious.
I didn't add any sugar or any what is it?
Like stevia,
erythritol or stevia.
Okay.
I didn't add any of that. All I added was salt, eggs, and heavy whipping cream, and it was actually pretty good.
It was very it's very good.
I get my heavy whipping cream in there, but it's sugar free, so it's got no carbs. But I got a little bit of that in. No,
I think the erythritol has some carbohydrates. I don't know. I feel like there was something else, and I can never remember. All I know is I way overdid it.
Yeah, imagine that. Oh, I can't remember on the show day. I bet she could remember it yesterday. She remembered today. She can't remember.
Right. Those dang pickles.
Yeah.
Dang pickles.
Yeah.
Ew.
But you get caught in the moment.
Right.
Oh man, those pickles were so bad. It was just not worth it. Just not worth it. No, my son turned 7 yesterday. Everybody, it's my 7th year anniversary of being a mom.
Awesome!
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mom.
Yeah.
And Jacob for being 7.
And Jacob. for surviving 7 years of mom.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know how you can survive me.
That's awesome.
I just want to answer this one question. I had some
Sure.
Gouda cheese and some queso cuajada, which is some sort of Latino cheese. There you go. The end.
Nice.
All right.
So,
do I have the doorbell?
yep. Oh, somebody dropped by the cookout.
Who's at the door? Oh, Ellie. How you doing?
Hi, everyone. Hello.
What's happening, Ellie?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I'm also hunkered down in Florida in an undisclosed location and doing pretty well so far. So I feel you,
I
Russ,
got
when
you.
you said
Is
that.
it raining or anything there?
Not yet, but it will.
Okay.
You know it's gonna come.
Yeah, it's raining and kind of a little windy here where I'm at, but we'll see what
It's
happens.
Florida. It's Florida. You wait 5 minutes and it rains, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it through the show. That's what we're gonna try to do.
Yeah, you got stuff to cut out.
I
You know
don't
what?
care.
I'm glad to be
Hey,
here.
so much go on after the show. I don't care. The whole place can blow over.
Jeez.
So tell us, Ellie, what's going on? What's new with you?
Of course. So I'd love to introduce myself. My name is Ellie. I run a channel here called Nourishment Redacted because I believe that our nourishment, which I believe is carnivore, keto, has been redacted from our society. And so I discovered keto in late 2018 when I was at the deepest, darkest depths of darkness. I was so depressed. It's hard for me to say this, but I do say this. I didn't leave my house for 5 years. I practically lived in my bed, and I dropped out of college. And if it wasn't for my husband, I don't know how I would have survived. I had tons of brain fog. I had my thighs and my butt were so big, and I was just so unhealthy that I have rosacea. I still have rosacea. I'm currently still fighting that, but I think it's getting better. I had boils on my legs, and I just didn't have a thirst for life. I'm a pretty happy person, positive person, but I was just it was pretty bad. So I discovered keto just randomly online, and I was just interested because the food was all the favorite foods that I love. And it's like I wanted to lose weight originally, but then everything else started to get better, all those ailments that I had mentioned, and I was able to get pregnant, and I was able to start my family. And then my doctor told me that I was going to kill. Sorry, I said the kill, but do harm to my baby and harm to myself. And she bullied me, and she made me feel really insecure about that. And so I listen to authoritative figures when they tell me things. So I stopped it, and all of my addictions that I had previously had came back: carbohydrates, sugar, and it brought all the bad back, even though I should have been so happy with my new baby. And this was during the pandemic, so I felt very isolated with my husband. She had colic. It was just a really tough time. And then fast forward, I started learning about the carnivore diet, and I had been, I've always loved Dr. Peterson and his daughter Michaela, and as everyone knows, they're amazing people. Just in general, I loved his lectures about psychology and how to better yourself. Those are things I'm really, really interested in, and still am to this day. And so I've been carnivore for 119 days. And I am proud to say that I'm in the 170s now. That was my goal weight when I met my husband, I was 190, and that was 12 years ago. So you can see that this has been a long journey of yo-yo dieting, restriction, making myself feel bad because I couldn't control myself when everyone's like, just moderate, eat your vegetables. And those vegetables did nothing for me. They made me constipated, and I had horrible, I only went like once a month, and it was so painful, like pregnancy-like contractions is how I describe it. And since then, zero fiber, the thing that's so controversial, I'm regular, baby.
I love that. I love that.
We Grillin, baby, and I'm also
Hey,
regular.
Good for regular.
Yeah, it's nice to be normal.
Tell me, at what age did your problems start? At what age did you develop your weight problem and the other problems?
Yeah, sure. So I noticed that during middle school and high school, I was an average size. Every year I was gaining 10 pounds. And over time, because of emotional eating, happiness, sadness, loneliness, boredom, I seek food. And my favorite kind of foods are, pasta, rice, and all those things that I love but don't love me. That's what I always say.
Oh, they love you. They love you. They stay with you for a lifetime.
Oh yeah, they're still with me. They're still with me. And
Gotta
so
keep that bag a
love
little
that.
bit.
Yeah, I'm glad you found a breakthrough. Does somebody else have a question?
How do you meal prep for your kids?
Oh, sure. So I am a stay-at-home mom, so I do have the blessing of being able to be here for until they wake up, until they go to sleep, and then wake up in the middle of the night again. So we typically, for the kids, we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner like normal, and we also have a snack after like nap time. So not in that order, obviously. Breakfast, lunch, snack, and then dinner. And my daughter was, excuse me, my daughter was extremely picky. And it was a long transition to get her to be carnivore. And we didn't pressure her. There was no, we wanted it to be something that became natural. We wanted her satiety levels to come back to normal, because all she was doing was craving the sugar, craving the carbs. And I knew that there was a lot of tantrums and stuff like that. So meal prepping, I involve my children. I get them in the kitchen with me, and we make food. And sometimes I'll batch cook, because cooking is so much easier now that you don't have a million ingredients as you all experienced. And it is when you have your kids in the kitchen, you are teaching them life skills. And so
that's very important, because I'll tell you something. My problem started at 8 years old, and I'm 53, and back then, even today, people don't understand metabolic health and stuff like that. So my parents, we grew up eating all the wrong stuff, and eating when we were happy, and eating when we were at weddings and funerals, and at every occasion there was a pie and a cake and ice cream, no matter what. So I'm a big proponent of teaching kids the right things, as well as the right relationship with food. Food is for nourishment and hunger, not for punishment or reward. Although, listen, do I look like a guy that's against birthday cake? Do I really? If anybody's in favor of birthday cake, it's me. But it can go further than that. Well, tell us about your channel, what people can expect if they go there. Of course, we want everybody to go to Nourishment Redacted and check her out. Like, subscribe. Tell them what they can expect when they come over to your channel, Ellie.
Of course. Thank you. So I try to be as authentic and real as possible. Today is day 1 of Lion Diet. So I decided to do that during the hurricane, because I'm trying to heal this rosacea. I've lost a lot of weight and I feel incredible, but I want to show the journey of how the carnivore diet can change your rosacea. I want to delve deep into mental health, because I struggled with depression so long. And if I can help one person feel like they're not in the bottom of a pit anymore, and I can be that hand that pulls them out and come into the sunshine, then that's what I want to do. So I want to be a support system. I want a community. And I feel like I have been building that community, and I feel so much love for these people. They tell me their success stories, and I want to give them everything they need to continue down the track of success. So you're going to you're welcome.
I love that. We do the same thing here. That's why you're here. We want you in the community. We love you in the community. We love everybody. And we're so glad that you've seen such great results. And hopefully, it won't be the last time we see you here on the Cookout.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Hey,
we Grillin, baby.
We're Grillin, baby.
We Grillin, baby. Wait, we'll have Ellie's information in in the comments and all that for everybody that wants to follow her and check her out. We hope you do.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and
Ellie.
somebody mentioned she's 19 people away from being at 1,000. So it would be awesome if you guys could go over there.
Go sub.
Let's get her to 1,000,
everybody. Let's get to work.
Thank you so much.
All righty.
It's been so much fun.
Hey,
bye, Ellie.
Bye, Ellie.
Oh, so
All
awesome.
right. Man, that's a great story. We love that, man. The mental health, especially, man. When people can improve their mental health, whew,
The best.
I mean, it's a burden to go through life with depression and anxiety and those things. So I love that. It's a great story.
Absolutely.
Oh, somebody else is here. Who's somebody else is?
Hey,
it's
Carnivore.
Hey, everybody, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, what's going on there, brother?
Oh, well, you know, the YouTube live things are there's always something going on. And
listen, you know, I'm listen, you know, now look, when you're as good looking as me, you don't have to be that smart, okay? But I'm gonna take a guess that you're from Indiana.
That's right. Yeah, I live in Central Indiana.
I win again. What part of Indiana?
Rocket scientist.
I live just on the north side of Indianapolis.
Anderson?
No, Fishers.
Okay. Yes, I've spent quite a lot of time in Anderson, Indiana.
Oh yeah.
Only about a third of it in handcuffs, but the rest, the rest of it at a place called Hoosier Park.
Yeah, the racing, horse track racing casino.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I had one racing tonight there. I think we finished second. So, yeah, I've raced there since the '90s. It's a nice place. I've been there many times. Yep.
So, my name's Brett. I run a YouTube channel called the Hoosier Carnivore, and you know, my family, I'm basically the only one kind of doing carnivore in my house. But I started about the same time Carrie did, right around St. Patrick's Day, and lost about 45 pounds. You know, I'm on my way. Still got some healing to do. Been learning just a lot. And, you know, and this is kind of my second go around because I'd lost a bunch of weight on keto back in 2017. And then the weight, I kind of did it dirty, and then the weight kind of came back, and now I'm doing it again for the second and for the last time. So my channel's more about, you know, my journey, and I want to, you know, share my experiences and, you know, maybe help somebody out there who may have been going through the same thing. And I've been battling type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance and, you know, and all that. I mean, my story's not really unique in that way. I'm just a regular fat guy who got insulin resistance, and I'm using carnivore to try to fix it. And it's fixed other stuff too. I've had a lot of non-scale victories as well.
Yeah, and those are the best ones. You know, I tell you, when I'm on a lot of different conference calls and things like that, and I say it all the time. When people start talking about, you know, ketogenic living, whatever, you know, level or stage of it that they're at, usually the weight they lose is what they talk about last. They talk about being off medications. They talk about feeling better, having more energy. I mean, they talk about so many things, and then they say, "Oh, and I lost 40 pounds." So, you know, those non-scale victories are, you know, that's where your life is. You know, your life isn't on the scale. You don't live your life based on a number. You live your life, you know, day to day with what you can do and what you can't do, and where you can go and where you can't go, and how you live. So getting your life back is 1,000 times more important than getting to a number on a scale.
Yeah, and I'm a much happier person since I've been doing carnivore. You know, I've kind of got that carnivore vibe, you know, where I just, you know, I want to help people, and I want to reach out, and I want to answer questions, and I want to talk about it. And, you know, I just feel this kind of generosity, inner generosity just kind of blooming. And, you know, I just kind of feel the need to share it. And that's why I started the YouTube channel about a month ago.
Yeah, I love that, Brett. Well, it's like, it's like when if you've been, I made an analogy a long time ago. It's like being locked in a prison. And if one of the guards left the key and you let yourself out, the first thing I'd want to do is let everybody else out,
Yeah.
And that's the spirit you have. You feel like you found something that's unlocked a door that you've gone through. And man, you want other people to do that as well, because the struggle, the pain. I mean, it's, I feel the same way. I'm still in the struggle. A lot of folks have met their goals and gotten where they wanted to go, but I'm still in it every day. So I understand where you're coming from, and that's fantastic that you want to do that and put yourself out there. And I want to thank you for all the support you've certainly given me on my channel. You always like and subscribe and comment and stuff like that, brother. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, and I think Bill Knott from Alaska kind of said it best. You never know how people are going to hear your message and what it's going to do for them. Like the way, he heard Carrie's message. So, if I can do something, even a fraction of what that is, I'll consider myself a success.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Hey, Brett, I think of all the people that have come on the cookout, your house is probably the one that I want to go to the most.
Oh, yeah.
You're in the coolest room in the house.
Yeah,
literally. Yeah.
Yeah, I just went on the internet and looked for pictures of meat lockers, and I found this one, and StreamYard let me add it as a background.
Nice.
But
Awesome.
it's really easy to do.
Yay!
I've used it. I've done a couple lives. I did a live like a week ago, and then I did a live a couple days ago, and I had Ellie on my channel, and we had a nice little talk with her and Lindsay. I think we might do another one coming up this weekend.
Love that.
Awesome.
So yeah, I got it for that because I'm down here in the basement, and it's a mess down here. So I'm sure people would rather look at some hanging meat than
Hey, if I'm still alive, maybe I'll crash your live stream.
Absolutely. Yeah, just watch for it. I'll send you the link if you want to jump in. I don't care.
There you go.
I appreciate that, man. I do appreciate that. Hey, look, I'm trying to stay alive down here right now. We'll see how this thing goes.
Yeah, you're hunting down.
I might be over there. With you in the meat locker if this wind gets blowing too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'll fire up Big Joe and we'll grill out. We'll grill some steaks.
There you go.
Grill the steak and some shrimp tonight. I started the lion diet, or the sea lion diet, with Carnivore Kit, barbecue, and cast iron. So I'm 2 days into that, and it's going pretty good so far. I like it.
I love that. Shout out
Steak
to
and shrimp and salmon, and
I love that.
I had some sardines today at lunch. So I'm getting it.
Yeah, you're doing your thing.
Yeah, it's a nice little change up, and that's kind of what I told Kip. I just needed I've been kind of at a, just kind of going on steady and haven't really lost any, haven't really gained any, and just thought I'd just throw my body a little change up and do sea lion for that 30-day challenge.
Yeah,
nice.
I've already got it. I'm already in. I would have done that challenge, but I'm already in a challenge. It's called Everyday Life. I already got a challenge.
So whatever you feel best on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good on it so far. So
I love that. Well, you can find our guy Brett at Hoosier Carnivore.
Yeah.
Going over there, check him out. He's a heck of a nice guy, good friend of the show. And man, I'm so happy for you and all the success you've had. And I want you to keep going, man. Keep doing it and keep shining that light and shining the pathway for others.
Yeah, I will. I got a new video I'm working on about sugar addiction. Should be pretty good. Should have that out this weekend. And appreciate you guys having me on. This is fun. I love doing it.
Brother. And we'll see you again. I guarantee it.
All right.
Hit us with that We Grillin', baby.
Yeah.
We be grilling.
Awesome.
He made up his
Love it.
own. He made up his own. We grilling,
Yeah.
baby. We be grilling too. Hey, you know, I love it. I love it.
Thanks,
Have a
Brett.
good night.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
forgot to tell you guys something. So I was cooking my dinner and I thought I was cooking steak. I did eat steak, but I think I ate like some medium rare pork and I'm a little bit worried. I'm like, I don't think this is steak. Why does it look like this?
Ollie, are you getting your food mixed up now?
Yeah. I thought I was cooking a steak, but it ended up being a birthday cake. Dang it.
Yeah.
For a 7-year-old.
Just close your eyes and just reach in the freezer. Just
So I'm really worried. I'll let y'all know how that goes down or if it stays down. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Oh, somebody else here, man. It's a busy night.
Gary.
hello.
It's Gary, everybody.
How's it going,
Gary,
Gary?
how we doing, brother?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. How are you, Russ?
I'm good, man. Good. How things up there in Wisconsin? Are you getting ready for the fall?
Yeah, I don't want to think about it. I've been going out every morning, going on a little walk, and I'm like, man, what am I going to do when that snow starts falling? But
Oh man.
Yeah.
we'll adapt. We'll adapt.
Yeah. Watch football.
Yeah, I look forward to that for sure.
Do you have tailgating at the theater during football season, man? Have the big game on Sunday?
You know, I've thought about it. So it's going to be 1 year, our 1 year anniversary for the theater's coming up in 2 weeks. And we had a bunch of people ask for the Super Bowl and for a big Packers game. I'm like, man, that would be fun to show it on the screen.
Yeah.
Tailgating is huge here in Wisconsin for sure. But there's all sorts of weird licensing issues. But I'm going to be watching a couple Packer games this year, at least by myself in the theater for sure.
I love that.
That's
I
awesome.
love that.
That's
Anyone's welcome to join me too. We just got to keep quiet about it.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a Packer fan too.
So am I.
Yeah,
So am
when it was-
I.
So I started when I got tired of the Bengals and, these guys getting arrested all the time and just losing basically literally all the time. So, yeah, Russ left. So Bengals, I'm like, I can't follow these guys anymore. And it just so happened that I'm like, I'm going to pick a team with a new quarterback. It was Aaron Rodgers. And within 2 years, he won the Super Bowl. And I'm like, yes, I made the right pick.
Boo.
Now he's
Boo.
gone.
Boo. I do not condone that. I do not endorse that. I'm Buckeyes and Bengals.
Right.
Carrie, on their other stream, you were mentioning maybe doing a meetup in Chicago. Oh man, I want to go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My wife Jen and I were there, I don't know, a week or two ago. Had to run some errands, and then we just had a little bit of free time, and we went on this boat tour. It was really cool, but I was looking forward to after the boat tour because there was 6 or 7 steak restaurants all within walking distance. And
Oh man.
we went to this place called Steak 48, and I'm having dreams about that steak every night. It was the best food I've ever eaten. It was so good. And yeah, I want to go back. I was talking to Adam too. I was like, it would be fun to do it in Chicago. It's a little tricky because the parking's so expensive there, but
Oh no, just leave your car. Just take a train.
right.
Take a train.
It'd be fun here at the movie theater, but I live so far away from anything major, so everyone have to drive so far. But plus, I just want to go to Chicago and eat that steak again, so I got that added bonus.
Nice.
Right.
You need to come to Columbia. I just took my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my husband, my kids, all of us, but my daughter got steaks, and they were so good. Like they melt in your mouth. What do they do? They dry whatever it for 26 days. The steak. It was less than $70 for all of us to eat these delicious
Whole family. Wow.
The whole family.
Wow.
You need to come. You need to
The
come.
one I had in
It
Chicago was my first time I had one. It was 45-day aged ribeye, but they cooked it so hot. The guy's like, "Don't touch the plate." The plate's 500 degrees, and it's still on the plate afterwards. But Ollie, are you sure that was steak and not pork though?
No, that was definitely steak. But I think I
Sounds
might
like
be
pork
eating
crisis.
rare pork. I was like, I
Yeah,
don't
the
think
answer to
it's
that question is no, she's not.
but at the steak restaurant, it was a
she'll,
steak.
she'll know for sure tomorrow if she's in,
Yeah.
in her hot
Yeah.
food
Yeah.
poisoning.
I think you have a super chat because none of us have super chats. There you go.
There you
Carnivore
go.
Scott.
Ah, nice.
Oh, Carnivore Scott, man, he's the best. So generous. Thank
Yes.
you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, shout out to
Everybody.
Carnivore
Awesome,
Scott.
Carnivore Diet Doc, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he
what's going new?
supports-
What's new on the Carnivore Diet documentary? Anything?
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait. I am dying literally to share this footage. I've been editing together what I got with Bill in Alaska, and I just put together this big reel of the various doctors that I was fortunate enough to interview, including Dr. Hampton, who was really one of my favorites. That guy's great. Speaking of Chicago too, that would be another fun reason to do a meetup in Chicago. Maybe we
Right.
could reel him into one, but
Yeah.
I can't wait to show all this to people, but I've been working with his documentary film guy, and he's like, you can't, anything that's gonna be in the documentary or on Netflix, if you show that on YouTube, Netflix is gonna be like, no, we passed. It has to be 100% original. So it's kind of frustrating, but some of my close friends, like you guys here, I think maybe we could do a little, I could share some of it with you and not put it out on YouTube kind of thing. So I've been editing all of that for a couple of weeks. I was just telling Adam, we took so much footage and I had all these elaborate backups, but the internet was so slow in Alaska, I couldn't back up the footage to the cloud like I wanted to. I did that when I got home, and I think it took me almost 3 weeks to fully upload all the footage. It was literally just like 3 days ago. Finally, it hit 100%, and I could sleep at night because I'm like, if my house burns down, it's all gone. On the flight home, I had my computer, I had my memory card, and I had an external hard drive, this thing. And but I'm like, it's all on my person. So if someone robs me and takes everything I have, all the footage is gone. So I had all these plans in my head, and of course they didn't work out because the internet was so slow there. But thankfully, it all worked out in the end. I'm so excited to share what we have. I guess the only other thing before I keep rambling is we got so much footage with Bill out there. We could almost have a whole documentary on Bill's story. I've been editing it together to try to just do a short little teaser reel. I'm like, it's almost done. Like, here we go. Here it is. Like, we're all done with it. But we got more stories to come. Amy and Shane are going to be the blind couple I did an interview with a while ago. They're going to be in it. And after the 24-hour live stream on the 16th, I'm hoping to hit the road and start interviewing more folks like all the other Bills out there around the country. So
Can you give us an update on Bill? When was the last time you talked to him, and just kind of how's he doing?
Talking to him as we speak. This is no like fluff for the YouTube stuff. Like, oh, we're best friends. We are literally like best friends talking all the time. This stupid knife he gave me, I hate him so much for this thing. He's like, so I can do it now. I don't know if you guys saw my stupid little videos, but this little
I did. I watched.
I did, yeah.
I finally mastered it. I can do left hand, right hand, but my family hates me. I almost killed Emma the other day. It went flying out of my hand. And it's so addictive. I can't stop it. But one thing I will say about Bill, he sends me these little videos. Most of them are, oh, Carrie, you're doing this wrong. You got to do this and you got to change your hands. But he sent me a video today and it really caught me off guard. And I keep saying a fly flew in my eye and I teared up a little bit. There's flies really bad this time of year. He was just talking randomly about, I think we were talking about knife sharpening, something random. And then he's like, oh, Carrie, look at this. And he panned the camera over to the right, and off to the right, over on the side of his little house. Before I tell you this, keep in mind this. My big epiphany when I met Bill was I realized he was stuck in his house for 4 years. I didn't realize he was stuck in the corner of his house in the bed for 4 years for 99% of the time. I thought in my head, I was like, oh, he's got to cook food. He gets up and he cooks food over there. He does this. He cooks all the food from his bed. He leaves once, maybe twice a day to use the bathroom. And it's just this huge chore. So he never leaves his bed. So with that in mind, he panned over like this and he had a huge oak desk sitting next to him. His brothers brought it in for him. And any day now, he's going to be going over to that desk to cook his food and sit on that desk and edit his YouTube videos. And it was just like, but he was just like, oh, I just got this desk. It's got me really emotional because I'm like, man, he's what, like 40 days now? I think he's right around 40 days on carnivore. And he has a long way to go, of course, but he's seen such amazing results in terms of the inflammation going away. when I interviewed him in Alaska, I asked him to sit on the edge of the bed so I could get a better shot and so we could talk. And he could do it for a little while, but he was telling me, Carrie, 2 weeks ago, I could do this for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and he's just in agonizing pain. His knees are giving out. His back is giving out, like tears coming to his eyes. When I was there, so this was 2 weeks after that, he was able to sit for almost an hour, which was miraculous to him. And now he just told me yesterday or the day before, his brother was there. I think he said he sat on the edge of the bed for like a couple hours, and he's like, it's the most amazing thing. This pain in the knees and the back, I'm able to sit now on the edge of the bed where before it was all the way in the corner of the bed, propped up. He even sleeps at night sitting up. He showed me he has this pillow. He sleeps like this. He cannot lay down. He can't breathe laying down. He wouldn't be able to get back up. So
that's got to be tough.
Well, listen, man, hey man, God bless you for what you're doing for him. And you know, I just want to, I don't know if he's watching. If he is, shout out to word to him. I've never been 700 pounds, but I've been 550 pounds. So I get it. I understand. And if there's anything I could ever do, Carrie, or to talk to him or whatever, just give him inspiration or whatever, I'm certainly happy to do it because I know the struggle. I know the struggle.
100%. I really appreciate that, Russ. Yeah, I hopefully he's watching. He wasn't on the other live stream, but he just caught the end of it. But I will relay that message to him for sure. It's so nice to be able to talk to other people that have been in a very similar situation to him for sure. Yeah. But yeah, so that was huge. That was so exciting when I saw that. I'm like, it's just a desk, and the way Bill says, like, oh, it's just a desk over there. But I'm like, that's progress. That's partially you getting your freedom back. Ultimately, when he walks out the door, that's the freedom. But being able to get out of that bed that he's been locked in, that's freedom too. So it's a step in the right direction. But I'm so happy for him too. I guess the only other thing, I'll stop talking because I ramble too much, but he's done this.
You're good.
I was there for him. Like, what are we going to do? We got you coaching. We got you this. We got you that. You need help on YouTube. You need help on this, like almost overbearing, trying to do everything. And I kind of got the feeling from Bill the first couple of days. He's like, Carrie, I got to do this kind of myself. I got this. If I need help, I'll talk to Dr. Chafee, who generously offered his time. I'll do the coaching. I'll ask you for help. But this man has pretty much done all of this entirely on his own. I know it's kind of weird or corny to be the captain of your own ship. I always say that, but he has become the captain of his own ship, and all the credit to him on day 40. He's by himself. He's like, I got this. I'm going to do it. I want to do it. I'm going to do it. And he's doing it, and he's thriving. And I'm really happy it turned out that way. Not that I would want to take any credit, but if there was coaching and there was this and there was that pushing him along, he's like, I got this. I'm going to do it. And if I need help, I'm going to ask for it. And he's just done it, and he's just thriving. And his mental health too is improving. For the first time, he's like, I have hope. I was hopeless, and I have hope.
Yeah.
I know.
I get it. Like I said, I get it. I get it. And I think it's awesome, man. Like I said, God bless you for what you're doing and the work you're doing, man. It's fantastic. That's why we tune in. That's why we watch. That's why everybody loves Carrie, man. Everybody loves Carrie.
Thank you. I appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, it's very
inspiring. Did I say my nickname for you?
No. Drop that now. We got to come up with something more extreme with the knife. Carrie.
Carrie.
Ah, he said it. I didn't say it. He said it. Care Bear.
That's good.
I'll come up with a better name.
We got another guest. Looks like we got somebody else. Oh, look who it is.
The doc is in the house.
What's going on, family?
In the building.
Do it, doctor.
What's going on? But first of all, no scurvy and no carbs this week. So I just want to put that out there. No scurvy. That's right.
Did you eat some medium rare pork and think it was a steak?
Hey, listen. Anything that was alive, I just eat it. That's all I know. So
that's right.
Game. That's right.
It's really inspiring that I think about Bill, man, and my entire existence at work is to put people in front of me and figure out why they struggle. And man, I don't know I haven't seen the documentary yet, right? Because it's not ready. But let me tell you, what is it that caused him to struggle? And I mean, even if he had to go to the hospital, do we have a public health system that would provide transportation, and not send him a bill after they pick him up and treat him? So I think so. When I started my journey, I learned that I can talk about low carb, keto, or carnivore, but if I don't think about why people struggle, then that may not be enough. Some people take the handout, eat this, don't eat that, and they're good. But then you have this other group of people who struggle. And what I find is that it may be what is metabolic health? They're like, I don't know. You know, what's a carb? I don't know. In my culture, everybody eats a certain way, Doc. You know, I got to have a tortilla. I got to have cornbread. Can't eat the greens without the cornbread. So those are the types of things you face. And let's not talk about the bias that we have in the world. Even a person who's larger, you know, and I'm sure you guys can speak to that who have been larger, the world doesn't always treat you well, you know. So if you come to a doctor's office and the seat's not big enough, you know, then is that the patient's fault that you didn't make a seat big enough, you know? Or if you try to get on the plane, they don't have seats to accommodate people. So my whole world is trying to help people through their struggle and not have bias and have a health system that's equal for everybody. Because some of the things that'll blow your mind is that you'll take a educated African-American female, right, who is having a baby, and you're like, well, she's educated, she's a lawyer. Why is it that they have an infant mortality rate for their babies that's like a third world country? And what they're finding is stress. Like there's this chronic stress that people in certain communities face. And so we have to create an infrastructure in our country that supports people when they struggle. And this is the beautiful thing, guys, the way you support that person is to create a community like this. So this could be a community of people who are all pregnant or being supported. Maybe they're breastfeeding, and having that community support people is actually the types of things you can do to help people. So I think what you guys are trying to do is really critical to help people who are doing these dietary changes, people who are struggling, people. And I like the fact that Russ is saying, hey, I'm still on the 500 level. Then we got some folks that then lost 150 pounds or more. So people can feel comfortable with everybody. We see diversity on this panel. All of that stuff matters. And that's why I think I'm happy to kind of be part of the family. I don't know nothing about a cookout and all that nonsense, but I'm here. Where the food at? I want the food.
I know what you mean about not being friendly to the larger folks, because Adam is mean to me all the time, and I'm mad about it.
Back at you, Russ.
Well, we're gonna deal with him later, but maybe you've earned that, because when I met you at Keto Orlando, man, you could be kind of, you can be a problem. So maybe he had to put you in your place.
He's a sweet angel.
I beg your pardon. Okay, the doc's got to go now. Thank you for stopping by.
Bad internet. Yeah.
By problem, he meant joy. That's what he meant.
That'll work. Yeah. That'll work. So I think we have, and let me just say this one more thing about this concept. So what's the way we're going to solve these problems? I think part of it is how we, educate people, right? So we got to teach them that your diet matters. Doctors don't learn this crap in medical school. So we have to get those young doctors educated, right? The other thing we have to do is when we do research, we have to make sure the communities of color are included, right? So we need to have people like, Russ in there. We got to have people like, Adam in there, and we have to have the whole spectrum. But then you go to these communities, they don't trust. So how do you get them to trust you? And a lot of that comes from you have somebody in the community they already trust to help lead that. So it could be the pastor, it could be the community leader, somebody, community health workers. So those are the things we have to do as well, and just work collaboratively, because a lot of these larger organizations, they have like health equity and things like that on their to-do list, but a lot of times it's just on their to-do list. So we have to make sure they act on that, and these large companies have plenty of resources that'll help people make change. So by inspiring people with like the documentary and the things we do on social media, we have to take that inspiration and do something about it. So, I mean, Carrie, the fact that you started so aggressively, you got this idea. I know you have some skills in creating movies and things of that nature, but the fact that you had an idea and you ran with it, right? That's what we need. And then you're inspiring other people like Bill and others. So I think that's what it's all about, man. I'm just an optimistic person. who believes that the world's going to be a better place. And that's why even at the end of the day, I told my wife, I was like, I'm about to go on the computer. She said, "You going to do what?" She needs. So I got to make sure I give her some me time. So if you're living in your purpose, it doesn't even feel like work, right? I don't see anybody on this call that looks tired or doesn't want to be here. Everybody's excited, and it's been a full day. My day started at 6 a.m, but yet, and I'll say this about carnivore or keto, man. I tell you, you just don't get tired anymore. Like you have all this energy, you have mental clarity. I can't go back to being that other guy. And I haven't even had dinner yet. And I'm really not hungry. Like I'm going to eat dinner. But if I didn't eat dinner tonight, it wouldn't even be a big deal. And I've never felt that good. I've never felt that way. And my patients don't believe it. They're like, "No, doc, I don't understand. I gotta." They're like, they want to graze all day long like a cow, because that's what they think is normal to them. And when you tell them that they're not going to be hungry, that they're going to have mental clarity, that their stomach, I know Russ talked about having a stomach problem, or I heard some of that, Russ, talking about that gas issue.
Nice.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about, because I had the exact same problem. But I sat next to you at Keto Orlando because we don't have that problem no more. I wouldn't be sitting next to you if we still had that problem. So it's just nice to get my belly back, get my mind back. And then when you come home, you have the energy to be with your family, obviously to do this type of work, man. It feels like I'm just preaching, but I'm telling you, it's been a game changer. And you just want to say it to every patient, but you have to also deal with their, broken toe or whatever. And you just want to bring it up no matter what they're, hey, that toe will heal better if you just do carnivore.
Yeah, put a little bacon grease on it. Just 15 minutes.
That's it, guys. So it's just good. So you guys are doing your thing, man. So I'm just loving it, right? So anybody throw any questions in the chat? Anything?
Not yet.
Not yet. Going to take some questions. So if you have any questions for the doctor while he's here, go ahead and throw those.
I got a quick one. First, I got to give credit where due. So Dr. Hampton, you were on the live stream. It was wonderful. You have an open invitation, sir, anytime. I've been cutting up like interviews with doctors and to do shorts. And I have so many like great clips from you on there, just really insightful information. So I appreciate it. And you also have an open invitation, not putting you on the spot because I know you're a very busy man, but on September 16th, we're doing a 24-hour live stream. 24 hours, not a problem for carnivores. Everyone here is, of course, invited, but you have an open invitation. If you can stop by for 5 minutes, we'd be happy, or 15 minutes or whenever. So we can send you some more info in case you're interested.
Yeah, I like that. What day of the week is that?
Saturday.
Oh yeah, that should work. So I'm definitely gonna find some time. So send that invite and I'll be there. Because again, this is a grassroots mission, right? So everybody has to do their part. And I am 100% interested in that because again, I can't shout it from the rooftops in a large health system, but what I can do is do my part in those forums that you guys have created. I spent some time with the Steak and Butter Gal and others. I think we all have to be part of a larger community, and we're still outliers, right? So I don't know how many carnivores they have in the world or people who are even doing keto, but we're still outliers. And when I bring up the term keto, dare I bring up carnivore? But if I bring up the term keto, even people are still kind of looking sideways. They're still living in fear, even though the American Diabetes Association hasn't put it on their list of possible diets, even though the American Heart Association has done it, even though the Association of Clinical Endocrinology have all said it's okay as an option. But yet we live in a world where people are just so afraid. And I just think we have to stop this craziness. Now, when I was at the Symposium for Metabolic Health, I talked about vegans and carnivores living in harmony. Does anybody think that's possible?
Hell no.
Yeah, me and my mom live in harmony. Me and my mom live in harmony. But she's in a different country.
Yeah, could
Yeah.
you take Russ off the stream for a minute?
They can live in harmony at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. I can live with a cow.
Oh my God, he really got off the stream. Okay. Well, listen, check this out.
She's been waiting to do that from the first episode. I'm telling you. The first episode she's been wanting to do that. I'm telling you.
Well, they can, and I had about 15 talking points that kind of spoke to that topic. But the main thing is, imagine going to New York and you have babies, right? And you're a carnivore, and on Mondays and Fridays there's no meat in school. Now the question is,
Wow.
if we flip that and we say on Mondays and Fridays you're a vegan, we will not serve plants in this cafeteria on Mondays and Fridays because we think that's what's best for you. Now, does that sound like the good old USA? Does that sound like America? And we would never do it to them, and they should never do it to us. That's all so that was just one of the 15 talking points I shared. We cannot live in a world where we indoctrinate people. And that's why I love, again, what Russ has said, which is, listen, you can do carnivore, you can have that label, that's cool. I'm going to do my thing. I'm just going to keep my carbs low. I'm going to leave. I remember when you said you left Keto Orlando and you stopped by Taco Bell and got some damn sweet tea. I mean,
don't forget that burrito.
That burrito, right?
It's such a shame that the doctor will never be on the Keto Cookout again. It's such a shame, you know. He was on my Mount Rushmore, man. I gotta just waiting as soon as this stream is over, buddy.
If I see my face off that channel, man, it's gonna be a fight. I'm coming to Ohio or Florida, wherever you at.
Dang, he's hunting you down.
And I have to say, I have to clear this up because so I don't get hate mail. I do not wish any harm to come to any vegan or vegetarian. These are jokes, people. I'm a clown. These are jokes. I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. I went to 4 years of Seventh-day Adventist boarding school. Okay, no meat. All right. So, and most of my family is vegetarian and still Seventh-day Adventist. So, these are just jokes. I don't want anybody, you know, they'll be playing that clip on every vegetarian website. I'll be persona non grata, man. I'll be public enemy #1 for the vegans.
Hey guys, that's what he did at the conference. He actually sat down with me before my presentation, which was the next day. And I was like, man, I got all this information about the blue zones, and it appears that they actually eat meat. But man, it seems like the only one that doesn't eat meat is the Seventh-day Adventist. And he said, the Seventh-day Adventists, they eat meat too. I was like, that's not what I've been told. So he was able to, so even though I didn't find a study that said that, I was able to look it up. And he said about 30% actually are more plant-based. And when I looked it up, he was right. It was even less than that. So I just didn't know, but yet they do all of these studies that says, oh, Seventh-day Adventists, you know, centenarians, they live to 100. And yet when you look at the data, only a small percentage of them are plant-based. And that's just so the messaging needs to reflect that. If you're going to put out a message that says that only the plants are going to keep you around for 100 years, then you need to prove that. And what they've done is not prove that. So as much as I appreciate the research that Dan Buettner, who wrote that Blue Zones concept, it's just disingenuous when you're giving people the impression. And especially in communities of color, there are so many people in communities of color that I see that are simply afraid of meat. Can't eat red meat. They're worried about saturated fat. They're worried about cancer. And they think that plants are the only way to heal. And yes, if you're eating garbage and you go to a clean plant-based diet, it's going to be better for a while. But who's educating you about the supplements you need to take? Who's letting you know that gas that we joked about earlier may be from those plants, and that you may do better and not have to worry about that if you eat more animal-based. So we have a lot of cleanup to do. We don't want to argue with people. I like that some people like Dr. Chafee and Dr. Saladino are kind of like out there debating, and I think we need to do that. But I think we have to have we have to be tolerant of each other, right? And as much as it's fun, I love Dr. Sean Baker's posts. They're funny. He's cold-blooded with it. But so it's a joke, and I think people should take it that way. But ultimately, we should be able to sit down, like in this forum. There should be a future episode of this where there are plant-based people on the forum, and we have intelligent, intellectually stimulating conversations. The Symposium for Metabolic Health in San Diego, where I was a few weeks ago, the last year they had two. In the last two conferences, they always had a plant-based speaker in an audience filled with like keto and carnivore people, and that's what we need to do. We have to honor each other. And if that works for them, they should be able to do them, and they should also allow us to do us. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. And I'm just going to keep fighting for that forever in my health system, with my patients, on YouTube, until we get more people to embrace that. So I think that's a better messaging. But it is fun, I must admit, to, poke a little bit.
All right. Well, what have we got, Ellie? Questions
some
for the
questions.
doctor there? Let's get some questions going for Doc.
Yeah.
No insanity. Dr. Tony, would you please move to Louisiana?
It's funny. Actually, she's been, I've seen her on my channel. So no insanity. I appreciate you. I went to school in Louisiana. And if you can think of a place that's got some of the best food that'll kill you, it's Louisiana. So shout out. It's true. So shout out to Xavier University. For those who don't know, Xavier University is the only Black Catholic school college in the country. It's also the #1 producer of Black doctors and Black pharmacists. So so New Orleans is kind of like my home away from home. So I would love to be in New Orleans, but again, if I live there, if you go into a restaurant in New Orleans and you are trying to do what we do, the chef will literally come out and yell at you and say, "You're messing up the food. You better put some batter on that damn steak." That's what they put, batter on everything, and it's just the culture, right? So it's a challenging state to do that, to be healthy, but apparently, I think No Insanity is already doing some good things. So she probably has more secrets about how to handle the South and Louisiana than I do. So shout out to her. So
yep. What's the next one there?
Bella Brat, what's your favorite carnivore meal, type of meal, etc.?
I'm a very simple guy, very busy. So I hate to just keep it simple, but you give me some ribeye, I'm pretty much a happy camper. I could probably, if I was like Tom Hanks and I had to have one food to eat on a beach somewhere, I wouldn't want that damn volleyball. I would want they can have that. Give me some ribeye, and I could eat it twice a day easily. I tend to eat, intermittent fasting, but that's what I would do. I tend to cook it various ways. The air fryer is the most common. I do throw it on a stovetop. I don't throw it in the oven as much as I used to, which is really odd. But I find it's crispier and it's not dry if you just do it on the stovetop. So I'm going to keep it simple. That's my go-to. I do eat other types of animals. I like air fried. Like tonight, we're doing air fried chicken wings. I love that. I'm not afraid of organ meat, so I do like liver and things like that. I think it actually tastes pretty good personally, but I understand why a lot of people struggle with that. So I tend to be carnivore 98% of the time, but I do eat some non-starchy vegetables if my wife prepares it. If she looks at me with a sad face and and it doesn't have a history of bothering me, but I just feel better keeping it simple. But I'll eat any type of animal, and if I'm at like Carson's ribs, for example, I would just get ribs without barbecue sauce, things like that. So I'm just always moving things around. I don't get tempted by those other things. And I'm blessed in a way because my stomach, if I don't eat the right food, it's going to let me know. So unlike other people who are doing it for other reasons. So for me, it's like, I don't want to feel bad. I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm busy. So I don't really take my chances with this stuff. So, yeah.
Great.
What about you, Carrie? Carrie's got to answer that one.
Yes. So your favorite meat, what do you like to eat?
Oh, sorry. I was going to say ribeye, and thanks for the transition because I had a follow-up for Dr. Hampton.
Yes.
I was in Chicago not too long ago, and I had the best steak of my entire life, and I've been dreaming about it every night. Have you had any good steaks in Chicago out to eat? Any recommendations?
It's interesting you say that. I don't eat out a lot because what I find is that if I go to Sam's and I have a, 3 ribeyes for $30, right? And then you go to like Morton Steakhouse, which is a nice place, but it's going to be, I don't know, $60 or $70 for one steak. So we don't eat out a lot. And we also don't eat out a lot because of I need to make sure I'm full. So I may get a steak and a half.
Right.
Because, you know what I'm saying? And I just can't do that at the restaurants. So that's one place, a place called J. Alexander in Oak Brook we go to periodically, and it's a pretty good place that has pretty nice steaks. But I guess I'm not the expert because we're not in the street. My wife keeps me on lockdown at the house.
Nice. That's awesome.
Great.
Next
All right.
question.
Anything else in there?
We have many questions. Sorry, I will. I'm getting on it.
Right.
Getting on it. You're in the South Side. That's where you are, right? You're in the South Side.
Yeah, South. And I live in Oak Park, which is a suburb just west of the city. But in terms of what I practice, it's the South Side in the city. Pretty decent area, but it is a population that's a lot of Medicare, a lot of seniors. So, and I think it's the senior Medicare thing. A lot of people don't really have those resources at the end. People don't have those big retirements like they used to. So a lot of times they're struggling a little bit. And so I'm in a large health system that has a lot of programs to help support that struggle. So South Side of Chicago. Advocate Health is the name of the organization.
Nice.
Very cool.
I'm from the North Side.
Are you? Okay, good.
Yes,
So you're part of the crew. Cool. Isn't
that in the water?
Close enough. I lived in Lakeview.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
But no, I'm in South America now.
That's cool. Well, they have, didn't know that. Okay, cool. So one thing real quick, your zip code does matter. So going back to social determinants of health. So Streeterville is a neighborhood downtown. And that neighborhood has a life expectancy of about 90 years of age. And then some of the neighborhoods like Garfield Park and Inglewood have a life expectancy of 60 years. And it's in the same city. So your zip code matters. Even if you go back to the blue zones, again, that are not really plant-based, but people live long in those areas because they're in the right zip code. So if you're in the right neighborhood, hanging with the right crew like we're doing, that'll affect your longevity more than anything else. Just being around the right people, having the right habits. So, so the North Side would have a way higher life expectancy where you were living than the South Side.
That's very interesting.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I had no idea about that. I wonder about living in Colombia. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, we're going to find out. Just so, I don't want to get no notice that things didn't go well. So
that's true. Here we go. Here's a question. Here's a doctor-y question.
So I'm truly struggling with sugar and carb cravings. I get 3 to 4 days into carnivore and then crave. The cravings take over like a demon. Okay, so she's having some cravings, and and a lot of times the cravings come from, I think we all know this. You start with the electrolytes. Now, I wasn't taking electrolytes a lot because I didn't think I needed it. But I found out that I do need it sometimes because I started having issues with at night I would get like a cramp in my leg, right? So those cravings are much better if you get the electrolytes in. I use Keto Chow, and they have like I know Ken Berry's kind of like on the label, when you get it. The other thing is, are you really getting enough food when you eat? Because a lot of times, a lot of people, particularly women, sometimes they just don't eat enough protein, and obviously the fat in the ribeye, which is why we like ribeye, may be something that'll satiate your appetite as well. So I kind of think about that as well. And other than that, it sounds crazy, but you want to think about other things. Am I sleeping okay? Have I allowed myself to become keto adaptive? Because if you're if you're the kind of person who is not, some people need to kind of stay. We kind of joked earlier about going to Taco Bell and getting sweet tea and a burrito. For some people, going in and out of ketosis is not. I'm sorry, Russ. You're just an easy target, man. But some people can't go in and out of ketosis and be effective. It's like they have issues, and some people have processed food addiction. So for people in my practice who struggle that way, we get them to Dr. Joan. Like I have a link tree, Dr. Tony Hampton link tree. And one of the links is for Dr. Joan Iflin, who has literally 14 hours of programming to help deal with what's up here, because a lot of this stuff is up here. And what Dr. Joan Iflin would say is that it's your neurons, right? Your addictive neurons. And once you get them, they remain in your life forever. You just have to stay away from your triggers. And if your trigger is Dunkin' Donuts, you need to maybe take a different route and not drive by Dunkin' Donuts. So you have to deal with that mental part that deals with the physiology, the neurons, but the emotional part is a real thing. Now, if ever I got to hit Russ one more time. Imagine my favorite, my kid's babysitter. my kid's babysitter, her name was Miss Guana Roman, right? And Miss Guana Roman, because she was Mexican, would wrap everything in a tortilla. I mean, everything. And it could be some leftovers from the day before. Russ, you my man. It could be something from the day before. She'll wrap it, and my kids would love it, right? So when she wrapped that food with that tortilla, the question is, why did it taste so good? Is it because of what the food was, or because she wrapped it with love? And I honestly think it was the love that had the biggest impact. So emotionally, I think we crave certain things because we have an emotional attachment to it. And so
that's a bunch of, but there was no love in that burrito from
That's what I was going to ask. Did the cook actually wrap it with love?
That's where you were getting that, doctor. You're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I think there was more hate in that burrito than love. And it was
right. Well, this is not a.
Listen, hey, Candid Carnivore, the doctor is, it's late, it's past his bedtime. Plus, he ate a lot of red chips and he's sugar-free whipped cream. That's how you do it.
Is that what it is? Okay. So keep all these crazy points in mind when you're craving. Start with the electrolytes. Maybe make sure you have fatty food when you're eating it. Eat till you're full. You don't have to stuff yourself. And think about, is this an emotional moment for me? Am I emotionally reacting? Am I being triggered because I shouldn't have had the sweet stuff in the house in the first place? So you have to think about it. So it's a problem-solving experiment. And I think I would start there if I was in that candid carnivore world dealing with this problem. Yeah.
Okay. Carrie can answer this question. What kind of meats can you eat on carnivore? Can you eat pork chops, pork roast?
Yes and yes.
All kinds of meats, any and all.
It'd be easy to tell you what kind of meat you can't eat.
Right.
The none kind.
Just make sure you know if it's a pork chop or a steak.
And one more thing.
Someone's gonna say that.
That's right. Ruminant. We tend to like ruminant animals more, but absolutely pork chops. We eat pork chops here, but ruminant carnivore folk tend to like the ruminant animals more, like the cows and the sheep and things of that nature.
Yeah, I got a song parody I'm working on. An old time. Chicken is fine. Remember it next time when you get hungry. Chicken is fine. It's cheaper anyway. You'll save some money. Old steak can get real tough. If you had about enough, you need something else to eat. Chicken is fine.
And on to our next question. Dr. Hampton, if you don't mind, my question: do I need fiber for? I can't pronounce this.
Diverticulosis.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so diverticulosis is when you get pouches in your intestines, or should I say in your colon. And the intestine is the longer part that we think about, but the colon is the end part that's bigger. But you can get little pouches, looks like an appendix. And if you get all those little pouches, food can get trapped in there. So it's been taught in the past that you have to have a high fiber diet to mitigate that. And I think that's been proven not true. In fact, most people who have been told in the past they got to, avoid nuts and seeds and things like that are not necessarily needing to avoid it, especially if they haven't had a attack, which becomes diverticulitis. So the need for fiber, I think, is overrated. There are, the World Journal of Gastroenterology has already done a randomized controlled trial proving that a diet high in fiber is a diet that gives you more symptoms than a diet that's low in fiber. In fact, the people in the study had 0 symptoms of bloating, rectal bleeding, cramping, and abdominal pain. And the only people who had those symptoms were the people who were on the high fiber diet. I believe that the diverticulosis is from inflammation. So when you adopt a dietary pattern like keto or carnivore, you will reduce inflammation, and all that charring that occurs from fiber won't be a factor in your life. So I just think it's totally unnecessary to increase fiber. But if you get any handout, if you just Google right now, diet for diverticulosis, it'll probably say high fiber. So we're really challenged with giving people the wrong information. Now, why would we do that? We do it because observational studies is the foundation of where this advice comes from. And when you look at observational studies, most of the advice that says fiber is good for you is comparing that fiber diet to the standard American diet. They have not done a carnivore diet compared to a low fat, high fiber diet yet. So until we have those studies and enough evidence to suggest that's a better way to go, I'm going to go with that randomized controlled trial from the World Gastroenterology Journal, because that was a real study that was done at a quality study. So that's kind of my 2 cents on fiber. If a person feels better on fiber, they can eat fiber. I just don't think it's necessary. It's certainly not a nutrient at all. It just kind of goes through you, and then it helps to make the nutrients in the fiber less in the plants less absorbable. It's just a lot of issues with fiber, and for me, that fiber is a disaster. So I stay away from it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
This is a question for me.
Uh-oh.
When will Ollie get monetized? Super chat.
That's oddly specific.
Watch some of my content. I need a few more hours.
Yeah, YouTube, come on.
Yeah, YouTube.
My vote is never. My vote is never.
You're fired.
So here, I need to get everybody's reaction to this. And then once you see this, go to Ellies Channel and watch the full thing. So I need to know what everybody thinks of this.
It definitely tastes interesting. Let me see if I can explain it better.
Yeah. Super chat that.
Yeah.
There's your super chat. There's your super chat money, folks.
Okay. Guys, that was kidneys of a cow, and I want to say after I ate that and I made that video, I was like I had next level carnivore zen, and then I hopped onto a live with Carrie, and I was just like so full of energy. It was crazy. I think that if you have a problem, you think organs are nuts, maybe do carnivore for a little while, fix how your palate is on your tongue, and then maybe try some organ meats fried in bacon grease.
Okay. Well, listen, we talked about this before. I'm pretty sure we talked about this last week, and I explained to you. Brothers don't eat organs. We play the organ. We don't eat organs. I'm just telling you. We don't do that. Hey, can I get a witness in this place, Brother D? Can I get you, D?
Right.
Yeah. Doc Hampton.
He already said he's not afraid of liver.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to tell you, man. I guess she doesn't believe me.
Yeah, that's funny.
Brothers don't do that. Yeah, that's white people carnivore. We don't do that.
Would you stop?
Yeah, we don't do that.
We want to have equity among the carnivores, so stop all this other stuff you're talking about.
Dr. Hampton, what are your thoughts on gut biome discussion?
Yeah, gut biome. That's one close to my heart, because your microbiome is supposed to be the key to making sure you're healthy. So my first thought is it true that your gut microbiome has a role to play? Absolutely. But what we don't know is what's an appropriate gut microbiome for a vegan versus a carnivore versus a low carb person versus a Mediterranean. And again, when they're comparing the microbiome of various diets, a lot of times they're comparing it to the standard American diet. When I had problems with irritable bowel, and I took a probiotic by a company called Natron, I did so much better. So it's clear that your gut bacteria can help people. When I would stop the probiotic, however, my symptoms would come back. So the question is, when I did low carb, keto, and now carnivore, why is it that I really don't need the probiotic so much anymore? Because my symptoms went away with the diet. So the question is, what is the diet doing that helped my gut to be healthy? And what I learned is that the bacteria, the bacteria that this is going back to that fiber question. So a lot of people believe that fiber helps feed the it helps with the bacteria, and what the bacteria does when it's the right kind, it'll help your tight junctions to heal, be healthy, so that you have a healthy gut. But a lot of times what they're creating are small chain fatty acids, right? And those small chain fatty acids help to feed the bacteria that's in your gut. What I later realized is that beta hydroxybutyrate is going to be pretty high for people who are in ketosis or, in that state. So basically what the gut microbiome is doing for a person's gut who's eating, taking supplements or eating high fiber, etc., my keto carnivore diet is doing for me, because I have a lot of beta hydroxybutyrate, and that's going to help to protect my gut by a different mechanism. So I think that, so again, if you think about the big picture, we have to have research that focuses on different dietary patterns and what happens to our metabolic health when we have those patterns. And we don't have all the research yet. Anecdotally, though, we have a ton of evidence that would suggest that people on keto, carnivore, etc., have a gut that's very healthy. I mean, in fact, one of the most common things that people say, including us joking about gas, is that our gut is healthier. Mm-hmm. And so I think that if you have a healthy gut and you're doing well, but the person standing next to you said, I understand you're doing well, but you still need fiber, your microbiome is off. Well, my microbiome is going to be different as a carnivore than it would be as a person that's plant-based or any other dietary pattern. So that's why I don't worry about gut microbiome. My best experiment is the experiment where I'm the subject and it's just me. And what I find is that experiment works. And I also find that anecdotally in my clinical practice, it's been working. So we don't spend a lot of time worrying about the gut microbiome.
Okay. Next question. Crypto carnivore, online diet past 8 months. So many issues resolved in my ideal weight, now looking to transition to carnivore by adding back other items. Any suggestions on process to add things back?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, and the first thing I want to say is that for people who need to be on a lion diet, right? Because that's the only way you can survive, then that makes a ton of sense. It would be a mistake to assume that just because you healed on a lion diet, that's the only diet that you'll be able to have. Because what happens is when we do elimination diets, we're supposed to add back things very gradually, give it about 3 days. You're supposed to kind of really listen to your body for any signs of GI distress. I mean, it could be a rash, it could be an upset stomach, it could be a headache, it could be, not feeling well. and so I think I would stay within, you're kind of doing this animal kingdom thing, and you're pretty much eating beef, salt and water, right? And then, so I think I would start, let's shout out to Russ again, because he's all about that chicken, right? So you want to start adding things like chicken. Obviously, you want to make sure you don't add those seasonings that can mess up the picture, right? Because you can have a seasoning that can have some herb in it that your body doesn't like. So I would start adding back the various types of animals. Maybe start with for those who can tolerate organ meats, I would go into that. I would go into the chicken, and the pork, it's in turkey, etc. And then if you're just going to be a carnivore, then you don't have to go, I would make the dairy. If you think about the things that cause the most problems out there, and some people, dairy is on the list. Eggs are on the list. So you want to kind of make those things kind of later in the process. And then you want to maybe test those as well. Some people do okay on dairy if it's fermented. So like a kefir, a yogurt, they may tolerate when they won't tolerate like the milk. So that's kind of how I would approach it. Add one thing at a time, give it like 2 to 3 days in between, have a journal so you can document what you're doing, and then go from there. And if you decide to add other things like tea or coffee, you want to really be careful with that as well. So that's kind of the general approach. It's like a elimination diet, and then you add back gradually. They do have like information out there, like the functional medicine folk. If you just Google elimination diet, functional medicine, and you tweak it to fit your particular dietary pattern, because they're going to have plants and stuff. So you have to just ignore that and just start adding things based on your dietary pattern. But that's a good resource, because they're really good about elimination diets.
Cool. Next question. Who's your carnivore? When Dr. Hampton sees a patient that would obviously benefit from carnivore, how do you approach that person about the carnivore life? Is that allowed? Hand them a pamphlet on the side.
Yeah. One thing good about Advocate Health is that they do allow us to function as independent clinicians. The part that makes things challenging are obviously they think, the guidelines say all diabetics should be on a statin. Those are the things that get more challenging. But me recommending a dietary pattern, there's no rules against that. Now, if I was a nutrition professional, my nutrition license would require that I follow the nutritional guidelines, which will hurt you in most cases. So what I do is what I tell patients is, we don't know to what extent you need to go carnivore versus low carb, right? If a person is plant-based, by the way, I will honor that and just give my 2 cents about what I think is better, but then I'll give them the appropriate supplements to kind of help them through that journey. So when it comes to carnivore, what I do is I say, if you come to me and you have a neurodegenerative disorder, something that deals with the nervous system, if you have an autoimmune condition, or if you have a behavioral health thing like bipolar, schizophrenia, severe depression, those 3 categories are very much a slam dunk for carnivore. So obviously epilepsy would be in that neurodegenerative category. So I would educate them and say, did you know they had that carnivore is in that keto category? And they had a study done by Dr. Georgia E., Dr. Eric Westman, called Keto for Refractory Mental Illness. So if you've never had success with your bipolar, or you're a person that really wants to be off medicines eventually, you may want to consider carnivore for that situation. And what I do is I'll put, if they're in that bucket, now if they're not in that bucket, I'll say, this is what I do. This is what I thrive with. We can start We can start low carb. We can do keto. We can do carnivore. I meet them where they are. And I just make sure that they understand. See, my goal is to not indoctrinate people, but to make sure they're aware and give them permission to do something that they would have otherwise not done. And if they have concerns, I would say, what's your concern? And I'll do a Dr. Anthony Chafee. I'll say, well, tell me your concern, and I'll try to give you the science to support the reason why you shouldn't be concerned. And that's how I kind of mitigate that as well. I do get people that come to the practice now because I'm out in the public talking about it. That never happened to about 2 years ago. But now people literally come to me and say, I'm coming to you because you will not demonize me for taking this path towards carnivore.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, let's see. Here's another super chat. And what about, I guess this is a follow-up to the last question. What about how medicines impact and or are factored into the design of the medicine? Is there a symbiotic relationship between the two? Because the last question was about microbiome.
Yeah. So it's really kind of going back to the microbiome. How about how medicines impact and are factored into design? I'm not completely understanding the question, to be honest with you.
Maybe it has something to do with the microbiome being affected by medicine?
Yeah, well, the microbiome, if that were the clarification, it is affected by everything. It's affected by stress. It's affected by lack of sleep. It's affected, so all of those things will affect it. As a general rule, the medicines really do a lot of specific things that are helpful for a particular problem. Like if you're depressed, it may help to elevate your serotonin, but what the medicines don't do very well is that the medicines have other effects that, so if your serotonin level is high, then you're going to probably, what about those other neurotransmitters like norepinephrine, epinephrine, etc.? They're going to be off because they kind of work together. So anytime you're using medicine, you really want to be, the risk versus the benefit has to be high enough, or the benefit versus the risk has to be high enough to justify the potential side effects. And again, I'm a big fan. My wife's a type 1 diabetic, so I don't want to live in a world where we don't have insulin, but I do want to live in a world where we minimize medicines, where we have an opportunity to. So, and if we need to clarify that question, we can do it. I'm not 100% sure what that symbiotic.
I think you meant I'm not sure either, but I think you meant impacting the gut biome. Is that factored into the design of medicines? Like when they make medications, do they factor in how they affect the biome? I'm guessing.
I doubt it. I just think that the end effect is what they care about. And if there's some impact on the microbiome, because we're still learning, it's very unlikely that impact will be so significant that it will change the direction they go in as relates to that drug. As long as the end effect is there, they're probably going to push past that effect. And that's partly because we don't have enough science to kind of justify making course corrections. I think the probiotic field is at its infancy in terms of what we have to learn.
Okay, so this is 2 parts. So I got to read the first part first. Dan and Amber's carnivore life. Dan was injured 6'1", busted both elbows and wrists. It's been a long road to healing. We started our journey, I think, January 1st, but then the other part of the question is up here. 1 second. Here it is. Here's the second part. He has lost weight and now gained. Would his physical body that's trying to heal be the cause of this stall? Bonus, A1C went from 8.8 on February 23rd to 6.4 on August 24th without meds, eating only meat.
Okay.
So
his stall, is he talking about a weight loss stall?
Yeah, weight loss stall. And
okay.
it says it's now gained. So I guess he put on some weight.
Yeah. Your body is amazing. So when you're healing, everything goes into the growth mode, and And when that happens, it's probably much easier for your body to gain muscle. So it's very likely, it's nice to see that A1C reduction, but it's very likely that his state of growth has been the biggest impact, the fact that he's eating more meat. So I think it's very simple. I think all of that animal-based consumption is just making the healing better. And when I learned biochemistry, it was very clear that your body heals, it needs protein. Like if there's one macronutrient that's going to impact healing, that's it. That's why, again, I have these conversations about diet, even when people have injuries, because they need to understand that although it's okay to eat the plants, they really are not made in such a way that they give you all your essential amino acids to heal. So I think a simple answer to that question is that it's the muscle mass that's probably going up while he's healing, and that's allowing that weight not to kind of go down. It's just a balance of fat versus muscle. And I think that's all it is.
Okay, cool. Dr. Hampton, how's your time looking? I know your wife wants to see you.
Ooh, it's not looking good.
Good.
Yeah, probably.
I hope it chops you in the throat when you get back.
I'll probably need to wrap up. I must admit, because I do have early clinic. I do virtual visits tomorrow. I have a few meetings because I'm a leader in the health system. So, but I'm good, and I appreciate you guys. And that's, see, it takes a lady to kind of look out. See, she's such a nurturer, man. She's like, listen, you need to do what you got to do. So I appreciate that. So, but I enjoyed it.
I wish I could think of a reason to thank you for coming out here. I can't really think of one.
Bye, Russ.
It's all right.
You're right on cue.
I appreciate you having controls, and I'll deal with Russ later. But I appreciate you guys keep doing this great work. Carrie, you keep doing your thing. All you guys, I'll keep supporting your channels as well, and let's keep spreading this message. And I look forward to doing this again. I appreciate the invite. I really do appreciate it.
I'll send it to you right after the stream. I'll send you
okay,
the
cool.
invite.
Please do. I'll definitely do that 24-hour thing. I'll throw myself into the mix with that. Okay.
Yes, that's awesome. It's my 40th, so you better be there.
Sounds good. You're just a baby. Yeah. All right.
She got girdles older than that.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
I mean,
awesome.
we do have some more questions here, but
Yes.
I gotta put
Hit them
this
up,
one
Carrie.
up.
Hit them, Carrie.
Why don't stormtroopers eat Wookiee meat? Because it's too chewy.
There you go.
Nice.
Everybody's a
Russ
committee.
is smiling a little on that one.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to drop off on that one too.
Hey, listen, when they're picking on me, they're leaving somebody else alone. So
Yeah.
that's how it goes.
What's your favorite non-scale victory that you love?
For me, mental health and sleep. I kind of group those together, but definitely those two.
Awesome.
That's
How about Russ? Russ, do you have any favorite non-scale victories?
Being able to walk to the end of my driveway without passing out.
Nice.
Do you have what was
That's
it in the
something that comes to
90s?
mind.
That button, like, help me, I can't get up. Do you have one of
Oh,
those?
life alert.
No, but seriously, all jokes aside, I used to take my cell phone with me because I
Oh,
was
wow.
afraid I may not make it back to the house.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's no joke.
That's no
true.
joke.
I mean, it kind of is funny, but it's not a joke.
That's not to take the humor away, but that is one thing I really worry about for Bill, because I'm like, dude, you don't even have any grips or handles. If he falls down,
Yeah.
Oh, no.
he doesn't have his phone with him either. He's just got to wait for one of the brothers to come help him up at some
Oh,
point.
man.
Yeah.
Man.
True.
I'm not going to talk about my favorite non-scale victory because nobody wants to hear about it again.
Yeah.
Sleep is really
we've,
nice.
we've managed to make it a whole thing without talking about your cycle. Okay? We can,
I just want to say, so my cycle started on Saturday. But no, I have to say this is big. I went to the movies. Like that wouldn't have happened before. I would have just been in bed or like doing or watching TV on the couch or doing something, but I wouldn't have gone out on a date with my husband. That sure would have didn't happen. We watched Oppenheimer in Spanish, and that was really hard for me to follow.
That's a long one.
Yeah.
A lot of Spanish.
El Bombo.
Yeah. And we saw Gran Turismo last night. Is that the same one same title in English? That one's way recommended. But yeah,
Jen and I watched it yesterday too. That's crazy.
Nice. It was awesome. I love that one. Anyways, but the point is
talk over.
No. The point is that I feel so much. I'm not restrained by that pain anymore. Is what I'm trying to say. Even if it wasn't like how it was before I had children, because it definitely changes after you have kids. But definitely a couple months ago, I would have been like, no, screw that. I'll just watch a movie. I'll just do nothing. Wow. Anyways, do something where I don't have to move my body. What does this say? Oh, I totally skipped everybody else. Adam, do you have a non-scale victory?
Brain damage being healed.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, can we get a second opinion on that?
Exactly. Yeah, my wife probably wouldn't agree.
Yeah, compared to who?
Exactly.
Okay, and what about Damon?
Better sleep, less inflammation.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
The sleep is so important. I think it's like so important to fixing all of this stuff. If we're eating terrible, we're not sleeping. I agree with Carrie. It just goes hand in hand. Mm-hmm. It's not just the steaks, but a lot's at stake here. Okay, wait. I don't know how many more steak jokes I can come up with.
Pun intended.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a birthday steak. I have planned on having a birthday steak on the 16th with a candle in it on the live stream. All right. I am just going through. I think some of these were meant for Dr. Hampton. So I'm so sorry if we didn't see your questions that were for Dr. Hampton.
Yes, there is at least a 50-50 shot that he might be coming on once a month.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I was in favor of it until after this episode. I don't know.
Well, we're in favor. We're in favor of it.
But yeah, that's lucky. Hey, lucky for all of us, you don't get a vote. I'm kidding.
All right. I think this is the last question we're going to take for tonight. What are your thoughts on grocery store beef versus grass finished? How much of a difference is it worth the cost hardship? Carrie, you have a beautiful video on the same subject that came out today.
Yeah. It's a tough one because I know there's a lot of omega-3s, omega-6s in the grass-fed that's supposed to be really good for you. But I like Dr. Barry's advice, like eat what you can afford. If you can afford the grass-fed, go for it. But if you can't, and you could just get from the grocery store, I still think that's probably 100 times better than what I used to eat before eating only meat sort of thing. One interesting thing, too, just to add real quick, is I've been learning a lot more about Wagyu American beef. And apparently the ungrass-fed version of Wagyu beef actually has more omega-3s and 6s than the grass-fed does. That's what this guy's been telling me anyway. I got to do some more research on it. But
interesting.
Wagyu is good.
It's so good.
Yeah, look, the best beef you can get is whatever's on sale.
Yeah,
I like that advice.
That too.
or whatever someone else is cooking for me or grilling for me. My dad came over today and grilled me a steak. I think it was the first time I didn't have to cook for myself in forever.
That's awesome. My husband, he cooks for me all the time. By the way, this is for you, Carrie.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
What else do we got here?
I'm gonna share my screen here real quick.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So if anybody wants to be on the show, we actually have a website now that I'm pretty sure I put it together in like 5 minutes before I came on today. So it has a form that people can actually sign up, put their YouTube links and stuff like that in there, and we'll collect your name and email and stuff like that so we can contact you and get you scheduled to be put on the show. So I am going to pop that up. There we go. Can you guys see that?
Wow.
Yep.
So the web address is ketocookoutlive.com. So if whoever wants to come on the show, you don't have to actually have a YouTube channel. You don't have to have any kind of a channel. Any regular person, not that you're really regular, but a person that doesn't have a social media account.
You can
want to come on the show.
You can be constipated if you know.
Right.
Not a problem.
You can eat burritos. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. Go ahead and go to that website. Click on the apply for the show button, and it'll take you to a form. Just fill it out real quick. We'll get the email and we'll get you scheduled to come on.
We want to hear a great story. If you got a story to tell and something where keto has helped you, or carnivore or ketovore or any of that, we never get tired of hearing stories from folks about what ketogenic living has done for them, and we love to. And you can't have a thin skin if you come in. You know, we might have a joke or two or 7, right? But we love to have you
for sure. And one other thing before everybody goes, I'm going to share this tab. So everybody go to carnivoredietmovie.com and check it out. Go through the website, and you can register to participate for the documentary there. Carrie's done a great job of putting all this stuff together. And one of the biggest things that I think that you could do to help is click on this GoFundMe link at the top. And you can see the hard work that Carrie's been putting in at getting donations to make this thing a reality, to make it be put on the streaming networks, and get this message of zero carb carnivore lifestyle to help people heal. So if you got $1, $2, $5, whatever you got, and you feel compelled to donate to this movement, please check this out. And that's definitely would appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, I need to say something. $1, $2, or look, $9,400 will also be accepted. Gladly with open arms.
That's awesome. Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Adam, and thank you and everyone who's been volunteering to help with the video, with the documentary. I really appreciate it. Sorry, I got distracted. My wife just.
Oh, yeah,
nice.
Powerball.
Awesome.
Oh man, this looks like a good one too. I haven't had one of these in a while. So
thanks, Jen.
I want to say real quick, thank you to Russ, Damon, everyone. This is, I don't know how many live streams I've done now. This has been the most fun I've ever had at a live stream, laughing. And it's been awesome, man. I loved it. Thanks.
You're gonna make us cry, man. Cut all that out, man. You're gonna make
lots of flies out this time of year.
We love to laugh, man. Have a good time and make fun of each other and stuff, man. That's kind of what we do here. So, man, we appreciate you, and God bless you for the great work you're doing. Like I said, we can't say thanks enough. You're doing great work out there, and that's what it's all about. It's what we're all here for, is to get this message out. It's a life-saving message. It's a life-changing message, and we want the world to know. So has anybody else got anything to plug?
Hey, real quick, Carrie.
Baby. Sorry, Damon, your turn.
You're fine. Hey, Carrie, so I know you mentioned earlier that you have a lot of footage in like with Bill, but I was thinking you may have to end up probably turning into a series, since you already have enough of just his itself. So
great minds think alike. It's funny. I think I mentioned it to Adam earlier. That might very well happen, because we almost have enough for just Bill. That could be episode 1 is Bill, and then Shane and Amy, the blind couple that she lost her vision from diabetes, which is just crazy. She was like, if I was eating properly, I would still be seeing now. I'm like, that is insane to wrap my brain around. But yeah, Damon, really good point. That might be what ends up happening. I don't want to think about it right now, because
I know it's one step at a time. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
One documentary at a time.
Right.
Yep. For sure.
All right. Now we want to thank our guests. We had Ellie from Nourishment Redacted. Yep. Thank her for coming. Brett from Hoosier Carnivore. Thank him for coming. And of course, Carrie from Homestead How. Check him out. Go to his channel if you've never been there. We want to thank him for coming. And Dr. Tony Hampton, we actually want to thank him for leaving. So,
thank you for coming.
Thank you for leaving.
Really, even now.
Yeah.
With that, we'll see you guys next time.
Yep.
We
Bye.
grilling, baby.
We grilling, baby.
We
Grilling, baby.
We
Yeah.
grilling, baby.